नमस्सर्वेभ्यः पुनरपि स्वागतम्। ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम्. Welcome one and all. We were discussing about the Nama Japa in the last episode, how important it is, how it is opined by traditional conventional acharyas that they are emphatic about remembering Devanama time and again in all the occasions. In Bhagavad Gita, yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajatyante kalevaram tantameveiti kaunteya sada tad bhava bhavitaha. We know Jadabharata's story also, how he was remembering the joy moments and the sorrow moments of one of the deers, and he was born into the same form of life in the next. So we know all these stories. Therefore, remembering Devanama all the time is very important component in our culture. And also in Bhagavad Gita we find some of the shlokas connected to Nama Japa. It is correlating with one of the Kriya Yoga steps of yoga, where Tapaha, Swadhyaya and Ishvara Pranidhana are three components of Kriya Yoga. So, what is this Kriya Yoga in Patanjali Yoga Sutras? Tapas, Swadhyaya, Ishvara Pranidhanani Kriya Yoga Samadhi Bhavanartha Klesha Tanukaranarthascha. In order to attain Samadhi as well, Klesha Tanukaranartha, three Kriya Yoga components assist any human being to overcome kleshas, avidya, asmita, raga, dvesha, abhinivesha, panchaklesha. So this assist in removing the influential negative consequences of avidya whenever one finds that the track is detracked, and how to come back into track is what Kriya Yoga helps us to. But now there is samvada and samanvaya between Bhagavad Gita shlokas and Kriya Yoga of Patanjali Yoga Sutras, where Nama Japa plays a central role. Both these shastras explain the same thing. So, Mayyarpita Manobuddhihi Mameva Eshyasi Asamshayaha. There is no doubt about reaching and approaching and coming into me, one who remembers and chants the nama of a particular devata. So we know in our culture, Akashat patitam toyam yatha gacchati sagaram sarvadeva namaskaraha keshavam prati gacchati is the attitude, meaning all these devatas are representations of one Sakala Kalyana Guna Gana, as it is mentioned in Sri Vaishnava Parampara. These are all different phases, different manifestations of the same. So any devata we can take and start worshipping. Everything leads to one's upgradation in the spiritual journey, in the commutation. So, Mayi Arpita Manobuddhi, while remembering all the nama of different devatas, Manas has to focus, Manas has to be devoted to Mayi Arpita Manaha and Buddhi both. Buddhi, Nishchayatmika Buddhi. This is the Devata that I am going to worship, and this is the blessings that Devata will provide me when I am in this situation. So, all the homas and havanas, pujas and bhajans and all so-called spiritual activities connected to or related to one Devata. In fact, Devata concept in our tradition is, one is Kula Devata, then Ishta Devata, and Grama Devata. There are different types of Devatas. So, Ishta Devata and Kula Devata are actually personal. Ishta Devata is specific to one's wish or getting very connected to one specific Devata, and Kula Devata, whichever Devata is being worshipped in each and every family, we are obedient, we are devoted, and we are surrendering all our activities and very existence of ours to that Devata. That is Kula Devata. In fact, Sanatana Dharma is specifically surviving because people are devoted. So, Mayi Arpita Manobuddhi Mameva Eshyasi Asamshayah. There is no doubt one who remembers Tasmat Sarveshu Kaleshu, all the time, Mam Anusmara Yudhyacha, that is contextual. He says, Krishna says, you perform the action of war, but remember me. Meaning, whenever you remember me and perform the actions, finally I am the one because you have been remembering me. But here is a small conflict. Is it not the thought always that Karma Yoga is focusing Manas, Buddhi and everything on the action that we are doing, where three Karna and Manas, Vak and Kaya have to be focused on one specific function, and then Krishna says you offer everything to me while performing every action, because this is spoken at very high level. So to justify why this also, and this is only the Karma Yoga, since everything is manifestation of divinity and Devata, that is Brahma, finally doing anything and having that Devata or particularly Krishna in other ways, we can say that ultimate reality that whatever exists here becomes Karma Yoga. However, this is much more matured, or it is much more abstract in nature, because what he says in the second and third chapter, Sankhya Yogau Prithak Balaha Pravadanti Na Panditaha. Jnana Yoga and Karma Yoga are one and the same. But in Jnana Yoga, this is the difference, that every function will happen, but Manas is connected to something fundamentally, by default, what is one and the same, everything is Brahma. But in Karma Yoga, there is no direct involvement of that Parabrahma, that Tattva. So, Ekam Sankhyancha Yogancha Yaf Pashyati Sapashyati. One who sees Karma and Jnana are one and the same, that is what is the real vision. That is Kavihi Krantadarshi. Those become Rishis, those become real Kavis. Those see reality as is. So, and then till here we have looked into, but now Mayi Arpita Manobuddhi Mameva Eshyasi Asamshayah. There is no doubt one who remembers me all the time become me, or there is no separate entity as such, as an individual other than me. I am that person and that person is me. It's one and the same. But then Abhyasa Yoga Yuktena Chetasa Na Anyagamina Paramam Purusham Divyam Yati Partha Anuchintayan. Chintanam is to think over. Anuchintanam is thinking again and again and again and again. So the way Anukriti is imitating. So one does, the other imitates. This is called Anukriti. Imitating is called Anukriti. Anu in Sanskritam is following. Anukaranam, Anukritihi. But here Anuchintanam, Anuraga. So raga, if it happens again and again and again and again over the same object, it is called Anuraga. Similarly, Anuchintanam is chintanam again and again and again. Chintanam is thinking. If thinking happens about that, paramam purusham divyam, that purusha which is divya, divine, paramam, ultimate, we say the best divinity that exists in the form of purusha, if one keeps chintanam again and again, that is what is Anuchintanam. Partha Anuchintayan Abhyasa Yoga Yuktena. One who practices yoga through abhyasa, chetasa, in the manas, na anyagamina, and it is much more focused. So chetasa na anyagamina paramam purusham divyam yati partha anuchintayan. So Brahma Tattva, Parama Purusha Divya Tattva will be thought over and over and over and over. This is what is Nama Japa in fact. So all, but here Nama Japa and this specific activity, Chetasa na Anyagamina, Manas is nowhere diverted, nowhere deluded, or it is called, derailing, or the rail which slipped from, train which is slipped from the rail is called derailed train. But here Manas is on rail, it is going on the same track, Anuchintayan, again and again and again. This is what the Nama Japa, and also much more doing any activity focused on that Parama Purusha Divya. And Kim Vishishtancha Purusham Yati iti Chintayan Kavim Puranam Anushasitaram Anoraniyan Samanusmaret. Yah Sam Anusmaret. Samyak Anusmaret. Not simply thinking again and again superficially, but there is no other thought. Samanusmaredhyah sarvasya dhataram achintya rupam adityavarnam tamasah parastat. And it is very, very specific in the adjective that we are providing, that Purusha sarvasya dhataram achintya rupam adityavarnam tamasah parastat. Always we see this Brahma Tattva as tamasah parastat. It is beyond the dark. There is no dark. Whenever the light appears, it shatters the darkness which has been existing from the time immemorial. It doesn't take even a fraction of second to remove the entire darkness with one ray of light. So what one has to remember all the time, this is Parama Purusha Divya, but Kavihi is Krantadarshi, Sarvagnya Puranam is Chirantanam, it is always existing, and Anushasitaram, Sarvasya Jagataha Prashasayitaram, one who is the cause, material cause and instrumental cause, or the third party causes for this existence. That is what is Anushasita. In Nyaya they say Ishvara Kampa. There is one vibration of Ishvara expands into Dvyanuka, Trenuka, and all the molecules start coming together physically, and the world is created. So that is what is Anushasita, one who regulates, modifies, and does everything for this universe. Anushasitaram jagatah prashasitaram anoho sukshmadapi aniyamsam sukshmataram. And how and what is this size? We are not talking about physical size or physical property of that Divya Purusha, but at least to compare Anoraniyan, Anoho Aniyan, even smaller than the Anu itself. Anu is the smallest measurement in our culture. Anu doesn't mean any specific measurement, not nanometer, not even beyond that. We say whatever is the smallest is what we call as Anu. So Anoho Aniyan, the Paramapurusha Divya is Anu than Anu, meaning smallest, smaller than the smallest. Anoraniyan samanusmaredyaha, one who remembers all the time. Sarvasya dhataram achintya rupam. And also the difficulty and the problem with abstract nature of Paramapurusha Divya and Manas getting connected, whichever is more abstract, more non-tangible, Manas finds it very challenging to focus. But still we say from the negation neti neti, and then telling that Aditya Varnam Tamasaha Parastat, it is in the color of Aditya Varna. It is bright light which can dispel all the darkness existing forever. So prayana kale so this is what one has to remember one doing Nama Japa of any devata, that Aditya Varna Tamasah Parastat Anoraniyan. And this description probably is there in all the Upanishad. Tadejati, tannaijati, taddure, tadvantike, tadantarasya sarvasya, tadu sarvasyasya bahyatah. And it is there inside, outside, everywhere. We find these mantras in Aitariya Upanishad. We find Kathopanishad. We find many other Upanishad mantras. In fact, we find maximum mantras from the Upanishads describing what is Atma Tattva ultimately. So, Kavim Puranam Anushasitaram Anoraniyan Samanasmaredyaha Sarvasya Dhataram Achintya Rupam Aditya Varnam Tamasaha Parastat, 9th shloka of the 8th chapter, where we are trying to connect how first segment of karma of Bhagavad Gita is slowly switching into bhakti. So when we say that that Paramapurusha Divya and Tamasaha Parastat, connecting Manas and Buddhi. So we saw in the last shloka, Abhyasa Yoga Yuktena Chetasa na Anyagamina. Chetaha doesn't go anywhere, it is focused. Param Purusham Divyam Yati Partha Anuchintayan. So these are the two shlokas that we have covered in this episode of Bhagavad Gita Chintanam. I salute to all the organizers, and we see the next few shlokas in the upcoming sessions. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sarvebhyah dhanyavadah.